building small businesses is the new awesome thing. Millennials and Gen Zers are 188% more likely to build their own business. But it's frustrating to know that 95% of these new businesses fail to survive because of their challenges. A small business can face all kinds of challenges and struggles in its early stages. De facto 50% of companies fail in their first year and 95% fail in the first 5. In this video, I will be listing some of the most common challenges and problems new startups and entrepreneurs face. The solution often boils down to fundamental thought processes that we all can implement. If you had a framework that you could use to think more efficiently, most of these common challenges would actually become an opportunity. And if you are wondering what are these fundamental thought processes and want me to give them to you right now, instead of making you wait until the end of the video just to improve the viewer retention in hopes of increasing the number of likes and views on this video, you're right, let's do it. Who cares about number of views I get on this video? As long as you get immediate value from this clip, I've done my job. The thinking I'm suggesting you implement throughout this video is to look at these problems through the lens of two fundamental concepts any business needs to succeed at. That is innovation and marketing. Let's go through each of these problems and you'll see what I mean. The first challenge faced by many startups and established enterprises is finding new customers. The struggle to find new customers isn't restricted to small businesses only. Even Apple and Amazon have a wildly big army of marketers working hard to attract enough customers. And this means the first thing you need to do before forming a small business is to make sure there's enough market demand for what you're offering. Doing so reduces the possibility of being one of the 42% of small businesses that fail because of market demand issues. Once you find a market, it's time to try to get your share. You would have to compete with tens of other small businesses who may have a louder voice than yours at the start, but with persistence and continuously focusing on delighting your customers, you would start to build your list of long-term loyal customers. Being customer obsessed is more crucial than ever before nowadays. We'll talk in detail about that in just a bit. Remember, we spoke about innovation and marketing. Let's quickly analyze this problem through that lens. So if your business or startup is having issues finding customers, ask yourself if your product or service is innovative enough. Do you need to spend more time on innovation so that the product or the service you're offering is differentiated or disruptive in the market? Analyze if you are swimming in the blue ocean or the red ocean. Finding customers can be solved by just thinking about how innovative your product or service is. On the other hand, if you consider your product to be innovative enough, the problem is how you are positioning your product in the market. And you need to spend more time branding and developing a branding strategy for your product. Remember, marketing is all about finding new customers, but branding keeps the customer coming back to you for more. So improve your branding and your customers will keep coming back. And this leads to a flywheel effect where existing customers start referring you to their friends and family, and new customers start flowing into your business. If you've been in the business for a while, you'll understand that new customers don't just show up. It usually takes a user to be exposed to a particular product or a brand several times before becoming a loyal customer. So with finding new customers, the second problem that we will address is all about generating new leads. An acquired customer is someone who purchased from a brand, is satisfied with what they got, and is willing to buy more in the future. Acquired customers keep small businesses alive, and I doubt that you started a small business not to keep it alive. And if that's the case, you can't go without integrating lead generation techniques into your marketing strategy. You may or may not want to take advantage of many marketing strategies and techniques, but one thing is for sure: if you want something that you invest in once and that keeps generating leads for years, you should consider creating content. And content can be almost anything: written blogs, images, infographics, podcasts, etc. However, if we recommend one content form over the others, it'll be that video content creation, because it increases conversions by 80% when added to a landing page. On the other hand, lead generation techniques for small businesses include SEO, SEM, and email marketing. To make the most out of lead generation, let's again think about the innovation and marketing lens we spoke about. Can you use innovation in ways of generating content, for example, through automation or machine learning? The next problem we'll discuss is about increasing brand awareness. The science of marketing proves that people buy from brands they're familiar with and know well. This truth tightens the rope around the neck of new and small businesses, slightly because of being unfamiliar to people. However, if you constantly produce optimized and valuable content, you would undoubtedly find your way to your audiences and get their attention. Still, reaching them and getting their attention isn't enough. You have to leave an excellent first impression and start your relationship with your customer right. In plain English, putting in the work of creating great content is worth it. If you have recognized this problem within your own company, you're on the right track as you're thinking about branding and marketing. Again, consider innovative ways of increasing brand awareness. The next problem companies often face is keeping up with the digital transformation. The internet has made it possible for anyone to start a business online. It has made it mandatory for all companies to be online. Digital transformation is the shift to virtuality and the adoption of technologies. And it doesn't only mean you need to be present online, but also you should meet the high standards imposed by the digital transformation on leaders. In other words, customers don't care how small or new the business is, they simply expect you to compete with the industry leaders and then just stand out. And needless to say, a small business will struggle to do so. A great piece of advice comes from the book Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary, a branding expert, assures that being original and unique online will certainly pay back in the longer run. Even when competing with the best, be original and you'll eventually be noticed. The problem of focusing too much on competitor obsession versus customer obsession. Another challenge small businesses face is to define the obsession approach. Will they be product obsessed, customer obsessed, technology obsessed, etc.? For instance, a company that's product focused will focus on creating and inventing top notch products for its customers, as Apple does. And a competitor obsessed company will focus on competing with the best in the industry. Think about Huawei competing with Apple, for instance. One thing is for sure: you can't not be customer obsessed today. Customer obsession simply means focusing on doing anything to make customers happy. And this includes providing premium products and services for fair prices. But it also means communicating with customer and making them feel extremely valuable. And this problem is directly talking about branding issues if we think about it. The problem: managing finances wrongfully and redundant cash flow. Research conducted by American billionaire and investor Bill H. Gross found that funding is the most negligible significant factor in why startups and small businesses fail. He found that funding is responsible only for 14% of startups' failure rate, while plan and execution responsible for 32. However, small businesses and startups claim that the number one challenge is capital and cash flow. Even statistics prove that at least 29% of new companies reportedly fail because they lack finance. Bill responds by explaining that it's not always cash flow and funding that's the bug. It's more likely to be the entire business model. the marketing strategy, the absence of clear business plan, or it actually might be funding and cash flow issues. The point is, it's not always money and cash flow that shakes small businesses' financial stability. It can be any of one of the tens of factors. While it's always a bad idea to rush things out, it's never a bad one to take a step back and see where you might be able to improve. You can run the extra mile and consult a financial advisor or an accountant, and you'll undoubtedly find ways to minimize redundancy and increase cash flow. How can we leave out the problem of taxes? Taxes causes a lot of frustration for small business owners, and this problem extends its former cash flow, making it worse. So when making a financial management plan, keep in mind that small businesses pay an average of 19% tax on their annual revenue. There could be some deceptive ways to reduce the taxes, of course. However, we certainly don't recommend jumping on the ring with the IRS. You also might have a problem with networking, because networking just seems like one of those essential things that you need to do regularly as a business owner. But is this really the case? Networking is vital for small business owners. Attending events and meeting other business people can create connections with people who can help you reduce production expenses and increase your ROI. But unfortunately, the restrictions imposed by the pandemic had reduced the occurrences of such events massively. Still, you can constantly interact with people on LinkedIn and attend virtual events, and this will increase your visibility and help you attract people from your niche. Suppose you have succeeded in the innovation and branding part of your business, you'll find out that most people will want to network with you anyways. The problem of hiring talented people. In 2019, 52% of surveyed business owners agreed that the most significant challenge for small businesses was labor quality. That's from CNBC. It's a significant percentage, especially for small businesses that still can't attract top tier company nor spend thousands of dollars on recruiting agencies. As we mentioned earlier, clever trick would be to interact with the LinkedIn community and leave positive influences everywhere. And this long-term investment will certainly help you spot and attract quality people in the future. Also, don't go traditional on your urgent hirings. Don't just post a job offer and hire the next day, no matter how critical the position is. Instead, take time to run a paid test on selected candidates, then onboard the right one. This way, you increase the chances of landing great employees, wasting a little more time now than a lot in the future. Also, nowadays, highly talented employees want to work at innovative companies with a strong brand that stands for something like a powerful cause. So, if you are having challenges in hiring gifted people, then focus on how your brand is portrayed to new candidates. Do they get a sense of your company leading an innovation, or your company standing for a robust cause that the candidate can relate to themselves? Lacking essential awareness of business management principles. Business management issues arise even in the finest firms in the world. Many startups fail, for instance, because the founders do not agree on decisions, or because the employees try to do things their own way. Henry Foyle suggested 14 principles of business management to solve and avoid any of these problems. As a bonus, I also wanted to include scalability, which we'll talk about in more detail in Sense Business Commandments video. Will your business still generate income if you decide to go on a trip tomorrow? What if you get sick and couldn't work for a couple of weeks? Would it still generate income without you? If not, your small business isn't scaled yet. Scalability creates an autonomous system where the company can and do function by itself without your presence. And that's what you should work on. You should create a system where income generation is automated. And this requires, foremost, having enough content online that attracts enough inbound leads, and it also requires you to outsource almost 100% of your tasks to other people in your firm. And this certainly needs spending more cash and hiring quality employees who usually ask for a hefty salary. But yet, this also means a lot of free time to spend with your family and invent more products and services to grow your company. So, in conclusion, I hope you can see that some of these challenges can be solved by looking at them through the lens of innovation and branding. So, if you found this video useful, then like and share and leave a comment on what common problems you face most in your businesses. And until next time, take care.